Okay, so this is something that I've been thinking about over the last couple days about the next season of American Horror Story. And I'm wondering, even though I'm pretty excited about it, I'm wondering if you guys are, because the response to this season, while very positive at first, just kind of fizzled out. And I just wanted to talk about it for just 1 second. Let's jump into it. Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. Okay, in my last video I was talking about American Horror Story and what this season could mean for the general fan base, or just the audience in general, and the fan base as a whole. And one of the things I said in that video was American Horror Story 1984, at least on the surface, has the potential to be the biggest season of American Horror Story yet. And I still firmly believe that, because the whole 80s nostalgia thing, everything surrounding the horror genre becoming more and more profitable. I mean, the horror genre itself over the last couple years has really had somewhat of a renaissance. And nostalgia, 80s nostalgia in particular, has also been on the forefront of everyone's entertainment knowledge and one of the things that everyone wants to see in the world of entertainment. I mean, look no further than It. One of the things they did with the It movie, just to kind of make it more contemporary, they set it in the 80s. I know the book's like in the 50s or something. I mean, they had to do that because it's a modern take on it, and you have to use the grown-ups in the next movie. That's fine. But the movie was set in the 80s, firmly in the 80s, and that's one of the reasons I believe that movie did so well. And then you also have Stranger Things doing almost the exact same thing that It did. And I'm wondering whether or not this season of American Horror Story is going to take that mantle and just run with it, with the nostalgic 80s tone to it, and maybe even connecting other seasons. As I've also said, I would really love for this season to somehow connect everything from American Horror Story Asylum, which would also connect, as far as we know, everything in Freak Show and everything in Cult. So we have somewhat of another crossover season, but it's not on the same level as last season. And that's the one thing I'm trying to get at, is last season, I think the American Horror Story fan base blew up because there's still so many people out there who love Coven. They love Murder House. They love those first couple of seasons of the show, and they wanted to see those return. Not just return, but merge and finally tell the story that interconnects all of the stories. And we didn't really get that. I mean, we talked about it on this channel from time to time. The fact that American Horror Story Apocalypse, while being a good season, kind of fell on its face in terms of being a crossover, because there was very little to do with Murder House. A lot of it felt like a Coven sequel, and a lot of it didn't really take place in the whole apocalypse scenario, right? Just the first couple episodes and the last episode. So it was really just more of a flashback season that dealt with witches and warlocks and just built the world up from there. That's totally fine. I felt like while that was really good world building, and as Ryan Murphy has said, the witches are going to be coming back, not this season, but maybe in the future, maybe in their own spinoff or something. We're not really sure yet, but the witches are going to be coming back, and all of the world building that happened in last season is going to be very good for when that happens, because then we can explore it a little bit more. We know so much about it, and we can explore the characters more than just building the world that you would need to do if you just picked up from where Coven left off. Still, when you're talking about American Horror Story 1984, I just haven't seen the fan base surrounding it yet. I mean, maybe we're too far out. We don't really know anything about what's going to happen in that show. We have no idea about the story or where it's going to be set or who's going to be really in it, other than just the common actors that we know who are always in American Horror Story. And at this point, I can understand the hype isn't there. And you know what? I'm going to go off on a little bit of a limb here. I'm not sure if this is one of the reasons everyone's really unexcited about this season, or maybe it is. I mean, tell me in the comment section below whether this is one of the reasons that you're not overly excited about this season. But we all know that Evan Peters is not coming back for this round, right? He's taking a break. He might come back for season 10. We don't know. He took a huge hit playing all of those different roles in American Horror Story Cult, and he didn't really feel up for anything after American Horror Story Cult. He came back, he played more lighter-hearted roles for American Horror Story Apocalypse, but he is sitting this one out because it just takes too much out of him. I think he's taking a break from acting in general, so yeah, without him, I mean, he's been there ever since the beginning, and yes, we're going to have Sarah Paulson, but even she came out recently and said she doesn't know a whole lot about what's going on with this season. She doesn't really know as much as she would have known on every other season, so who knows what her role is going to be. She is everywhere. She might have a drastically reduced role, and the people who are going to be headlining this season are not the people that we've seen in every other season. You know, the people who have always guided this ship forward. And if both of them are gone or in greatly reduced roles, I can imagine the fan base not really wanting to show up, not really being there for this season because the people they love and they've always liked to watch in this show are not there or not there much at all. So it's just kind of crazy to me because I felt like the hype was there over the last couple years. I mean, when they were throwing all those teasers at us about what Roanoke was going to be like, I felt like the fan base was out speculating, trying to figure out all this other stuff on social media, and incredibly hyped about it. And the same could be said when Hotel came out. Lady Gaga was going to be in that season. I mean, remember, that helped a lot of people get over the fact that Jessica Lange was not going to be in American Horror Story Hotel. Roanoke, like I said, all those little teasers, they didn't give us any idea of what the story was going to be about for a very long time, and it felt like a huge mystery. Everyone wanted to know what the next step, the next evolution in this series was, and then Cult, probably for the best. I'm not sure if it was for the best, but tell me in the comment section below. It took the idea of what was happening in the real world. They decided to do the Cult scenario. They decided to jump on the Trump train and started to do like a more of a real world, this is what's happening in the real world and why it's scary storyline. And of course, it got wacky for American Horror Story's sake, but still, it was really interesting to see what they did there. And I myself, that was one of the reasons, even though I liked all the other seasons from then, I was really happy they decided to tell Cult's story. I don't think it really worked out the way that I was hoping, but I still thought it was a decent season. And then American Horror Story Apocalypse came out. I mean, granted, they said this, what was this, like June or July last year, where we knew exactly what American Horror Story Apocalypse was going to be, and that was going to be the crossover. And the crossover was something that they had been talking about for years up until that point, and we didn't think we were going to get it until this year, so it was moved up and everyone got excited. The entire fan base blew up, and it just kept going throughout the entire season. Everyone was so excited to have Coven back and everything, and now we're on 1984, and I just feel like a lot of people are bored. A lot of people have moved on, and I can't wait to see what they do here, but I've already seen so many people in my comment section talking about how I'm tired of American Horror Story now. I was very excited for American Horror Story Apocalypse. The first couple episodes gripped me, and then it just didn't really pan out. I was very unhappy with what I saw, and I wasted my time watching it. And I feel really bad for anyone who thinks that way, because I most certainly don't. I had a whole lot of fun, but I can imagine a lot of people are going to either not tune in, wait to tune in for 1984, and try to decide whether they like it or whether it's the right direction for the series to take. I'm not sure we're going to see the boom or the American Horror Story fan base show up like they did for Apocalypse, or maybe even Cult, or even Roanoke. I know a lot of people hated Roanoke, and a lot of people jumped ship after Roanoke, and then after Cult, or at least the more real-world terms that Cult was bringing to the table, a lot of people jumped ship there. They came back for American Horror Story Apocalypse. It was one of the better received seasons, more watched seasons in a long time, and yet people were kind of disappointed. Are they going to tune in for season 9? Is it American Horror Story 1984? I'm excited for this. I just wanted to throw out this video, throw out my thoughts here. Are you excited about this season? Are you going to watch it? Are you going to give it an episode or 2, maybe 3, just to kind of see where it leads? Or are you going to wait for it to come on Netflix or something so you can judge for yourself? Watch it all in your own time, at your own leisure, and try to decide whether or not you're going to watch American Horror Story anymore. Or are you planting your flag in the sand? Are you done with this show? Are you not excited for this theme this year? What they could potentially do in the future? Any spinoffs that might happen with Coven or anything else like that? What do you want from American Horror Story? I think that's a really good question, because it's weird to me that this season is something that fans have been asking for years. I mean, I feel like this is always at the tip of everyone's tongue when it comes to American Horror Story. They wanted American Horror Story Summer Camp, or whatever you would call it, that dealt with slasher genre themes, and now we're finally getting it. And despite that first trailer, and not really knowing anything, I haven't seen a whole lot of speculation or excitement. Even in my own comment section, people are not falling over themselves for this concept. And it's super crazy to me, because for years I've seen people wish, hope, speculate, theorize, write fan fictions about this particular theme. And yet now, nothing. It's just interesting to me, and I wanted to throw it out there. I want to hear what everyone's thoughts and opinions about this are, so tell me in the comment section below. Also, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload, and also go down to the description section below, hit that link, and go follow me on Twitter, where we can talk about, American Horror Story, any other thing I cover on this channel, The Walking Dead, the Saw franchise, anything in general, box office news, any of the other stuff I cover on my other channel. There's just a whole lot we could talk about. We could just have a conversation. That'd be great. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. It's been real.